In this video, I'm going to explain why I found multiple immortals who are voltaic bronze. Here's a bit of context. I know some immortals, and a few of them have benchmarks that look like these. Now before a few days ago, I always just thought, alright, this means that these people are just really smart. Good movement, great game sense, and they run around Dazznerth cloning and Phantom spraying. But then I was talking to one of these people, and he pointed out something that made me realize voltaic benchmarks aren't really reflecting aim in Valorant. He was going slow on the statics while he aims fast in Valorant. Now typically static clicking scenarios are seen as the best Valorant benchmark, as when played correctly they most accurately mimic Valorant aim. However, there is a very big difference between these two things. Static scenarios have a strong focus on accuracy at the expense of speed. Whether it be in a reload scenario or a scenario that reduces score for accuracy, you're forcing yourself to aim slowly and smoothly. And a bunch of people live by this strategy, as it results in the best static scores a lot of the time, especially in scenarios where accuracy is a score multiplier and it's not just a reload scenario. But then they go into Valorant and they're aiming at targets a lot faster with less accuracy. Before I can explain why this is a problem and how to fix it, I have to ask you to subscribe. It helps me out a ton and I just really appreciate it. For example, look at some pro stats. These pros aren't always hitting headshots, they usually have sub 30% headshot rates. Aim in Valorant is very different from a static scenario, as you increase your speed to be able to hit shots faster. In Valorant, you have a lot of bullets in your mag. You have like 25 bullets, and you just have to hit one of them on the other guy's head. You have to hit it before he hits you, however. Ammo is not your restriction, accuracy is not your restriction. You want to get a working shot off as fast as possible. If that means that you miss 4 shots on the way there, then that's fine. Now you're probably thinking, well, don't I have to eventually hit the first shot in order to be able to kill the other guy fast enough? Well, I mean, if your average pro has a sub 30% headshot rate, that means that you'd be fine missing a shot or two in your average pro lobby in your average pro gunfight. Is your lobby harder than Pro League? I mean, if it is, then maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. Now, this doesn't mean static will hurt your aim or that doing static will make you worse. When you practice tracking, this won't hurt your ability to flick, it'll help it, just not as quickly as practicing flicking itself. I believe static versus Valorant aim is pretty similar. There definitely are benefits to training static for Valorant, however you'll probably be better off if you spend more of your time practicing the kind of aim you'd use in Valorant. So if we're not just going to static main for Valorant, what should we do instead? Well, there's a few things. For benchmarking, I like to include some speed TS and Pokeball scenarios as a way to rate your ability in attack FPS. While these aren't perfect, I feel like they're a lot better reflection of the proper pacing of attack FPS aim when compared to static. Pokeball scenarios are technically static TS, but when I've been saying static in this video, I've been referring to static clicking just to clear that up. For practice, there's a bunch of things. I'd mainly recommend the H&A routines to people. These are really nice attack FPS playlists that also represent aim in Valorant. A lot of this video was really inspired by their guide, so I dropped a link to that guide in the description. In that guide, there's a link to all the different playlists you want to use and how to play each scenario in them to get the most benefit for Valorant. Or any attack FPS really. There's also a link to the H&A Discord in the description if anyone wants to ask any of them questions. I also find reactive tracking to be extremely important, as it allows you to practice making small adjustments onto targets, which is basically all you have to do other than crosshair placement, and it helps you work on your reaction time, which helps you start your adjustments faster. Now there are times when you would play static, like there's a lot of static scenarios out there with a lot of different target variation that can be beneficial, and if you play static a certain way then it can be pretty helpful, and also just sometimes you want to play static, it's a fun scenario type and the leaderboards are pretty competitive. For these cases, especially when you're wanting to try and improve, I'd recommend focusing on reload based static scenarios, as these do a lot better job of mimicking Valorant aim and attack FPS aim in general than accuracy based static scenarios. Thanks for watching and subscribe for more aim training content.